So we've kind of touched base on our expectations for the next generation of consoles. And next week, Xbox One, or excuse me, the Xbox Series X. God damn it, Microsoft, fix your names. Um,
Xbox 5. Just give it a number.
that'd be fine. I would be totally fine with that. Call it like it's just they don't want to be one behind Sony. I don't know, but who cares? Anyway,
Amen.
the new systems are coming out, right? There's a lot of games that are on the horizon. Some we don't know so much about. Some we know a ton about. And let's talk about some of them, shall we?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
so I know you have a list of games here. Pick one of the games from your list that you'd like to dive into day one. Well, not
Sure.
dive into day one, but something that you're really looking forward to, right? Something that you cannot wait to play.
Okay. I mean, honestly, I would probably go with God of War Ragnarok.
Mm,
And here's a title that I never really thought that I would ever be interested in. But after playing God of War, it was this year.
yeah.
Obviously, late to the party there. This is a 2018 game, I believe. I had such a tremendous experience with it that when God of War Ragnarok was announced at the end of, I think, the last Sony presser,
Hmm.
I was so excited, along with everybody else that played the game. So it felt good to be part of that hype when that teaser was announced and shown. And granted, we've spoken about this before. It's such a short teaser, but man, is it sweet. And, you kind of have Kratos' voice chiming in. You don't hear anything about Atreus. He could be speaking about Atreus. It's really kind of hard to tell.
Mm,
But I think there's a lot of theories going around that are really interesting. And I'm kind of curious to see if Atreus is going to be fully playable.
mm,
Is he going to be the main protagonist? Or will he just be more playable than before?
hmm.
So there's a lot of questions to be raised, a lot to be answered. And for anybody who's played the God of War game that came out in 2018, there is no chance that you would not be excited for this.
Yeah.
So
Um,
I'm absolutely pumped.
Recently we had Zach on the show, and he's been giving me a ton of shit ever since about having not played the game. I bought a copy of it many Black Fridays ago for pretty good price, and it's just been kind of sitting on my shelf along with all the other games that I buy because that's what I do. And I really thought that 2020 was going to be the year for me to play it, especially with the lockdowns and everything that we've had, and it just simply hasn't been the case. I have not spent as much time with that particular game. I haven't spent any time with it. So I want to. I really want to. But at this point, maybe I should just wait for, until I get a PS5 so I could play it on the PS5 with the improved graphics or whatever ends up becoming of it.
I think you should do that. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a huge undertaking because it's not. It's only about a 25-hour game. I want to say maybe 30.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a giant open world. So
Right.
there's missions that you have to do, and there's some side quests, but it's very balanced. It's very it keeps you on the direction, the right path that you need to go on for the campaign and the main story. So
Yeah.
I think it does a really good job at that. And honestly, I think that's why the game did so well, because you don't get sidetracked that easily. At least for me, I felt like I was very focused on the main story,
Mm,
and I don't think I even really did that much on the side.
okay. I mean, the idea of playing a linear story really is appealing to me. My
Mm,
troubles with open world games are pretty well documented at this point, and some of the games on my list are open world, and it just kind of scares me a little bit thinking about diving into something like that and what my track record is with actually completing it. Like, I'm still waiting to finish Horizon Zero Dawn,
yeah,
and I always say that I'm going to. I haven't.
yeah, yeah,
you know
yeah. I mean, I think God of War, I had to commit to it.
mm,
I think that kind of goes for anybody, but I mean, for us, for games like that, we really have to knuckle down and just do it. And if it wasn't for Zach hyping me up in the game, I probably wouldn't have played it either ever, or I would have played it many years later, just because I was never really that interested in the whole axe mechanic, and the whole game looked very different from some of the previous iterations,
right.
which don't even really have that much experience with. So
Mm,
all I can say is I'm glad I played it. I think that everybody should play it. I think it's an extremely accessible game. And it's one of those games that, is so rare to say this, but I think it's impossible to not like it, which is a bold statement, but I think the game is that good that if anybody just says this game is trash, I mean, they need to really work on their criticism.
Yeah. Joe chimes in and he says, I think you'll just have to start the game and you'll be good from there. It pulls you in immediately. And, I think I need a game like that to do that, because as you've talked about, games that aren't just hooking you and holding on to you like Child of Light did, I'm kind of in a similar boat. I need to find a game that's just going to grab me by the balls and not let go until I'm done with it. And, I've been kind of bouncing around a little bit lately since Last of Us 2. I haven't really found a game that just kind of hooked me. I did a couple games that were shorter because I needed that mental break, and I'm glad I did. But since then, I've just been kind of floundering, trying to figure out what to play next, and I've been jumping from game to game, and it's been tough. So
yeah, it's challenging. It's like our game collections are kind of like browsing Netflix, right? It's the same kind of idea.
Right.
What do we watch? So much good stuff.
I mean,
yeah. For folks that don't listen to the show very often, that is Drew's GameStop, or at least part of it behind him.
Yeah, this is only like the retro section. It doesn't even include the the PlayStation and the Xbox games, which are on a completely different shelf that are out of frame. And over here I have the TurboGrafx and the Dreamcast. And anyway, I'll do a tour sometime. But
yeah, I tell you folks, and I've said this before, when you physically walk into that room, it brings me so much joy. And it really is, because it's like you're walking into a Funko Land. You're walking into a retro game shop.
Thank you.
And there's so much around you that I just want to, pick up and grab and just look at. You've got a fat PS3 in there, man. That thing is enormous. I forgot how shiny and large that is.
And heavy.
Yeah. And it's crazy because I had one, but when I was over there last, I remember picking it up and I was like, Jesus Christ, I don't remember this thing being a boat anchor.
Yeah. Sony has a habit of developing some chunky boys, apparently.
Yeah.
So